Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Venture with Joe and Cody. I'm Joe Skipper, the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by EXP Realty, and that is Cody Wilhelm with Residential Mortgage. What's going on, man?
Aloha. How you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, nothing new to report necessarily on the real estate world for us. Well, besides being busy, but that's good. I'm not complaining about being busy. The market's
Yeah.
picked up, and for us, anyways, and rates are kind of continuing to kind of either stabilize or creep down. So, yeah, it's kind of a boring goodness, I think.
We've been waiting for boring for a long
I
time.
know. I know. I
It's a
remember
good
week to
feeling.
week we were talking about, different things of like, okay, what are the rates? And it's like, boom, they jumped up, and then boom, they went down and significantly. And it's like, finally, we're just like, okay, they're creeping around a little bit up and down, but nothing, nothing crazy. And
Nothing
so
that's major.
yeah,
Nothing that's
so
like great. Here's another bad trend or
for
this
sure,
craziness. It's like, all right,
for
this seems
sure.
like a pretty normal environment to be in. So
Yeah. And I kind of forget, like, I don't know what show we've mentioned it on, but man, just kind of when you sit back and think about what we were going through during the COVID years of like just the
yeah.
craziness, the
Yeah, exactly.
absolute craziness of the market and
Uh-huh.
seeing homes. Well, I was walking with Christina, I think by an open house or something. And I was like, remember when we were in line to see a home? Like there were
Jeez.
lines of agents at certain points during
That
COVID.
is
So you'd
so
see a
weird.
house come on the market, you'd book it for that afternoon, and there would be like 7 or 8 agents with their clients in line waiting for the next agent to get through. Like
That's wild.
that is
6 feet
absolutely
apart, of
insane.
course.
Oh yeah, absolutely 6 feet apart, but making like 50, 70, $100,000 over asking price for these homes.
Right?
Absolutely insane. Like,
It's the
anyways,
thing that's
yeah.
the thing that's crazy to me is when you're in the middle of it, it's such a gradual thing that you get
Yes.
to a point and then it's
You
normal
think
and
it's
then you kind of
normal.
like,
You're like, "Okay,
yeah,
there's like 5 agents here, we gotta wait it out, let's sit in the car." And
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
but now you're like, people are super happy they get like 2 or 3 showings in a week. It's like, "Yeah, that's awesome, like, good traction."
Yeah,
It's insane,
I
insane.
know. And then a
And it took
couple
a
years
while
from
for
now,
people to be like, after COVID and when rates went high, they were like, "Why isn't my house selling in a week? My buddy just sold just down the road, like 6 months ago, and he got like
mhm,
18 offers." It's like, dude.
yeah,
So that explanation to people was like, it is not the same world, and it is changing
yeah,
by the week,
6 months ago
So
was a completely different
for
environment.
sure, for sure,
Yeah,
crazy. But anyways,
yeah,
now is a good, I think, not boring, but good time. Like I think it's just a good,
mhm,
solid time. But
yeah,
anyways, I want to talk about something a little off topic from the real estate world, but maybe we'll jab or dive into a little bit of our world in it. Is what we thought adulthood would look like versus what it actually is.
wow,
And it's one of those ones you dive deeper into your head and you're like, yeah, I remember thinking the various things and being like, oh, when I'm an adult,
right?
when I'm an adult, this is gonna be so much better.
Yep.
And now
Things are
I
gonna be so
tell my
different.
kids, I'm like, "Never grow up." Like, the
Yeah,
responsibility you have is 0. Like, it is absolute
exactly.
0.
It
Like, it
it
will
is the
never get
best.
better than this. Like,
Nope,
so
the
don't think
best
that
as it
when you're an
gets.
adult, you're gonna be, what it is.
Yeah.
But when you were in your 20s, like, say, for example, like, when you're in your 20s, what did you think your life is gonna look what would have looked like by now? So go back to your 20-year-old Cody, like,
Uh-huh.
you're like,
Just
what's
searching for
adulthood
love.
looking like for you?
So that is such an interesting thing because I think in my head, adulthood, I mean, I still don't, I'm not sure that I feel like an adult, but adulthood to me looked like you have a really good job and you've got a house and you've got a family and everything is just, you've kind of figured it out, right?
Mhm.
Like your younger years are so much of the figuring it out and you're kind of like, oh, once I get to this stage or this age, everything's just going to be kind of on cruise control and I
Yep.
won't really have to worry
Yeah.
about a whole
Yeah.
lot.
For
And I've
sure.
realized that it is the complete opposite of that. The easiest days where you're single, you
I
just need
know.
enough money to pay for your rent and
To
your
scrape
food
by, to go
and
grab
yeah,
drinks
put
and
some
food
gas in
and
your
whatever.
car. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
do whatever. It's like that
I know.
didn't feel like this is pretty awesome at the
Yeah.
time because you're just kind of, and I think that's one thing that's good, that's like always pushing you, is that there is that next thing that once you reach that next goal,
Mhm.
that's going to get you there. And then you get there and then you're like, nope, not yet.
Yeah.
Move to the next one. Nope, not
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah, I
I
think there's some benefit to that for sure. But yeah, same sort of thing is like you can't you just thought Man, when I get to this age, it's gonna be so much easier. Like, there's just gonna be less stress. I'm gonna have, like, a job and a wife and a kid,
Mhm.
and it's just gonna be easy and have a house. Like, you just, like,
Yeah.
think that you're gonna hit this point and be like, "Man, I made it, I'm done," and yeah,
Yeah.
it's not true. It's not true at all.
No, it doesn't. And I had Eli was saying something the other day. Eli, for anybody that doesn't know, he's our oldest. He'll be 15 in a
Yeah.
couple weeks, and he was saying how he's like, man, I can't wait until I move out and like I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, you're right, bud.
You
You
can.
will be
Yeah,
able to do
you
whatever
can.
you want. Can you afford to
Yeah,
do whatever you
I
want though?
know.
Probably not.
I
But it's,
know.
it like takes you back to that time in your life where you're like, things I can do. I don't have to do the dishes if I
I
don't want to. I can eat whatever I want to.
For
I don't
sure.
have to put my stuff away.
For
I can,
sure. I
all these
know.
things. Life is going to be so easy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I was gonna ask you, what was the it's the perfect, like, transition is what was the biggest lie you believed about being an adult? Like, stress, lack of stress, confidence, money, you know?
Yeah.
I think you
I
touched on
think,
those topics is, like, that thought. I think there's incremental things, but, like, 18, okay, things are 16, I'm gonna be able to drive. Dude, I'm gonna drive
yeah.
everywhere. No one's gonna like, I didn't know where the car was coming from, but it was gonna be I was gonna be driving, and I was
Yes.
gonna be doing that, then 18, then 21, then and
Uh
you're like,
huh.
"Dude, life is gonna just be amazing." Like,
Yes. I
not
know.
that it
I
wasn't.
think, I think what was deceiving maybe was just that you looked at anybody, I mean, anybody whose life wasn't like falling apart, and it felt like they had it figured out. They were, they made good money, their family seemed good, they had a place to live, they were healthy. Like it just appeared as though they made it, and there's different levels of that, not saying that, you had to be rich to look like you were successful and made it, but it was just kind of like, well, you must just get to a point in life where you've got it all
For sure.
and it's just kind of you just do what you do and that's
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
good to go for the next
for
forever.
sure.
And then I think it's just that realization of getting there. You still have, regardless of if you have a little bit or a lot, you still have so many different stresses in life of
Oh, man.
decisions and raising people, being married,
For sure.
everything that goes into life. It's like, wow, this doesn't, regardless of what success you have at work, life is still just a hard thing to get through, and there's not a lot of easy days where you're just kind of like carefree and nothing really
Yeah.
matters. So,
Nothing really mattered, yeah. I think
yeah.
I didn't see my parents fight a lot, and I think that relationships for me was a very deceiving thing. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't see them fight a lot, but I know they've had stress. They had,
Sure.
conflict because 'cause we're both married and there's conflict,
Yeah,
and
right.
and so you now see it, but as a kid, it was like when you had your girlfriend break up with you, or you had jealousy stuff with a girlfriend, or you had this and that, or you're like, "Man, when I'm married, it's just gonna be better." Like,
Yeah,
it's just gonna be there
exactly.
won't be any of that stress, and it's like it's yeah, that I think for me was a rude awakening because you just kind of I
Yeah,
remember specifically being, especially in relationship stuff of like, man, I just won't have stress when I have a wife. Like, she'll be
yeah,
there. It'll be no like it'll just be like best buds
right.
and like
Yeah.
hanging out and like
When I
and
find
it's
the right
just
one,
yeah,
yes.
and so that was, and not to say I'm not happy, I'm just, it
Yeah,
comes with a lot of stress and a lot of work and a lot of arguments and disagreements and,
totally.
things like that, but yeah, as a young kid, I was like, that's one area I was like, "This is gonna
Uh-huh.
be better once we get hitched." Like,
Yes.
once I get married, it's good, so
Yeah. Well, that's a good point because I'd never really thought about that as much, but my parents were the same way. Like, I don't know that I ever saw them fight. And if
yeah,
it was like a conversation of
yeah,
some light disagreement. But then you get yourself in that situation, being married, and you realize like they're still going through all the same things. It was just private conversations and they're just not doing
yeah,
it in front of the kids because we don't need to do this right now. We can wait and talk about it later or whatever. But yeah, it is interesting that you just whatever you see, it's kind of like what we were talking about on last week's episode of social media and how it can be so deceiving. Like the perception that people have of other people is unless it's really bad looking, then it's just that everything's figured out. And you're like,
yeah,
man, why does
everything's better.
my
Yeah,
yeah.
why do I
Why
not
is
have
it
it
that
figured
they
out?
always every time we're around them, they always seem so happy and
Yep,
they're doing
they're
this, and here we
laughing, they're
are like,
giggling, yeah,
yeah, we're like kids are out of control and we're frustrated with each other or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And it's, but then to find out that those people that you're talking about and envious of, they're going through the same stuff. They
Oh,
just,
yeah, yeah,
you
or
know,
you see the
they
next
hit a,
post of, like, they're divorced or, like, going through like,
exactly.
"Okay, okay, cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, with it was funny with food on a lighter note, it's, the same thing as, like, thinking I'm gonna be able to buy whatever I want. Like, it's gonna be Mountain Dew and Doritos, like, and
Yeah.
pizza the rest of my life, and,
Uh-huh.
I see Rory as, like, a teenager just eating whatever he wants, like,
Uh-huh.
and it made me think about the other day. I was like, "Rory, I'm so jealous that you get to
Right?
eat whatever you want." I can financially go grab whatever I want, but my
Uh-huh.
body will not allow it. My body will I will get fat. There's no
Yeah.
other way about it of like I will get fat if I eat what you eat. And I remember being a kid being like, "Man, it would be so cool to just have like $50 like whenever you
Oh, I
wanted
know, right?
and go just like buy just chips and soda and do whatever and
Uh-huh.
eat it." And it's like when you get to the age where you can do it, your body's like, "No, you can't." Like
Yeah.
you financially can, but physically, nah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And then you do it and you're like,
I
I feel
know.
awful.
I
And then I
know.
gained 5 pounds.
I know, and you gain the weight, and it just takes, like, twice as long to get it off, you know?
I
So,
know. Yeah. I do
well
remember I do remember that feeling though, like as a, if you could call, young adult, late teens, early 20s, you're out on your own and everything does seem like it's going to be easier and better because you just get to make your own choices. But then you do run into that money issue where you're like,
mhm.
"Oh, okay, I can buy whatever I want as long as I go to the dollar store."
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's college
And
for sure.
dude, when I lived down in California, there was, I don't know, I haven't been to a dollar store in a long time, but the dollar store that was down there, they had a pretty decent like grocery section. And so I could get a decent amount of food for
Yeah, I remember that.
15,
I
20
still
bucks.
yeah.
But even
And
then,
kitchen
as,
cutlery and things like that,
oh
like,
yeah,
you could, like, get plates, you could get
you could get
cups, you could
everything
do
there.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I still am like, "Why don't I do that?"
I know, right?
Even if they're not, like even if they last, like, 6 months, a year, it's like they cost $1.
Yes.
Like, I could
Yeah.
do this a couple times a year.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. It was yeah. Well, what's the
But even
mental
with
weight?
that,
Like go ahead, go ahead.
and I was just gonna say, even with that, it's like that stuff adds up. And when you don't have a whole lot of money, that freedom that you felt like you
Oh,
had,
for
you're like,
sure.
okay, I can do some of the things that I want to do, but I definitely can't afford to do all of the things
Yes,
because
yes,
I can, I got to prioritize my money now and where I'm
for sure.
driving because I barely have enough money to put. I remember for a long time, I don't know if you ever ran into this. Are you the type of person that, so take yourself back to when you had very little money, just young kid, were you the type of person that would fill up your gas tank, or did you just go, "I'm gonna put in like $10 or $15, and then that's gonna get me,
Oh,
to the
yeah,
next
you couldn't fill
4
it
or
up.
5 days or whatever it is, and then I'll reassess from there."
There's no way to fill it up for the money. It was like I was like, I don't have, like, whatever the amount is to just say fill it. It was like, I've
Yeah,
got $10, so let's see what
right.
that gets me and see how far that gets me. It was never I didn't have the luxury of just being like, "Fill it." Like,
Me neither.
uh,
I always was so jealous of people that had, like, full gas tank too,
oh, yeah,
because 'cause I'd be
yeah.
like I'd put $5 in or $10, and then it's like 2 or 3 days later, I'm like, "Crap, I gotta get gas again?" Like, I feel like I just did this, and
You
turns
forgot
out,
that
well,
you
yeah, I
only
guess
put
you'll
$5 in, you're like, "Man, I just put in my I just filled my
Yeah,
tank up." It's like, "No, you didn't.
yeah,
You put a
yeah.
gallon and a half
You
in."
put in a couple gallons, and that's about it.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, what's some of the mental weight of adulthood that nobody warned us about that you can think of? That's, like, a little deeper.
That is. Gosh, I guess you
I'm
could
talking,
go in a,
like, the decision making, planning, responsibilities, that sort of stuff.
yeah. I think just your day-to-day, like, overall, especially when you throw kids into the mix too, because there's so much extra planning that goes on
Yeah,
into whether it's food, obviously finances are important, but it's school and schoolwork and doctor's appointments and sports and signing up for this and that. It's like you kind of take for granted those quieter times. Like
for sure.
we go through it. It seems about like quarterly because our kids seem to be in like alternating seasons of sports. So it's like
Mhm.
every other season we get some time off, and it's just like, it's so nice just to kind of sit back and relax because it's just one less thing that you're needing to get them to practice and get gear and do all these things, and that's just like a small little piece of it. But
Yeah.
I think it just doesn't, none of it ever ends,
No.
and I think
And
that's
that's exactly what it is.
the
And not in a
weighty
negative
part.
way. It's just
No.
like I think the naive thought when you're younger is I'll work an 8 to 5, and then from 5 on, I'll have all the free time in the world. And
Yeah.
then on Saturday, Sunday, I will do whatever I want because I don't have to care about anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have my perfect wife who wants to do everything I want to do, and
Yes.
and it's like you get into this routine of life. Like we talk about it regularly offline. Is like our life is revolves around the kids, which is great. Like I love doing it, but it is funny how um, the responsibilities of adulthood are big, and I don't think we
Yeah.
notice it as kids. And I have a new appreciation for my parents who like went to every one of my games and practices and
Mhm.
whatever because it's like we didn't think about it. That's an hour and a half of just
I
sitting
know.
there, like, and they
Right.
did that rather than go do whatever they wanted to do. And then it was like
Uh-huh.
a pick up, a drop off, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever the case might be. So yeah, it's a lot more
Yeah.
responsibility and planning and decision making that comes up that I ever thought would be
Totally.
in our life. And now that I look back, I'm like, how was I so dumb I didn't know that?
Oh, I know.
Like
Yeah.
I just like I was like, what? How stupid was I that I was like, it's gonna be totally fine. Like I'm
Right.
gonna get a nice job, eat Doritos, like eat, like drink soda, have a perfect wife who never fights with me, and that's it. I'll have all the time in the world.
I know.
It
Well,
sounds
and I
dumb
think
now, but it's truly what a younger generation thinks. It's
yeah.
just what it,
Well,
and
you
it's
don't
not bad. It's just what they think. Like
it's kind of like what you're hoping it's gonna be, and you're
for
just
sure,
assuming that, "Why wouldn't this be this way?" Like, I'm
for
meeting
sure,
the perfect person for me, so
for sure.
we should be on the same page to let me do whatever I want, right?
I know.
But I think that I'm starting to feel in my own life this weird kind of shift too, like, because I'm always trying to find time to do little things that I wanna do, right? And sometimes it's something stupid. Like right now, I'm working on fixing my air compressor and just kind of like troubleshooting parts of it. And it's like, seems like such a dumb little thing to do. But then even just making time to be able to go do that for a little bit here and there. There's times where I'm like, yeah, I'd love an hour just to go do that.
Yeah,
Right. And it's not that
yeah.
I can't, it's just every time I want to, there's other things that are
There's something else. Yeah, for
that's
sure. For sure.
more important to me too, to doing.
Mhm.
But then I can also start to feel this like internal shift in my brain of like I'm starting to see our oldest, he's only a freshman now, but at the same time like that path is moving faster and faster with the
Oh
kids.
my. Yes.
And it starts to scare me a little bit in the
Yeah.
sense that I know that I'm going to be, I'm sitting here going, "Man, I wish I just had a little bit more time to do this and this." And then before I know it, I'm gonna have all this time and be like, "Man, this stupid
I know.
who cares
No,
about this stupid compressor?" Like, I wish my kids were here
for sure.
to
For
just
sure.
be all over me and preventing me from doing the things that I wanted to do. So it's this weird like balance of knowing it in the moment too, like trying to appreciate it and love it, and at the same time trying to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And it's a
Yeah. There's
weird
a balance
balance.
there, and it's hard to ever find it. But yeah, as
Yeah.
kids get older, man, if I was gonna give any advice to a 20-year-old or someone that's kinda listening to this and being like, "You guys are nuts," is like, I've realized, not that I regret anything, but I've realized, like, they grow it sounds so dumb, I hate even saying
I
it, but,
know. I feel
they
the
grow
same
up so
way.
fast. They grow up so fast, and I hate saying it because it's so cliche and dumb, and every parent says it, and every time you're young, you're like, "Okay, okay,
Right.
shut
Yep,
up."
heard it a
Like,
million
especially
times.
when you're in the moment of little kids where you're like, "This is never going to end." But, man, my kid's 13. He's like
Yeah.
he's in 7th grade going into he's almost in high school, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
dude, it is so fast.
It
So,
is.
so fast, like, that they grow up, and I think there's a big development level because kids as young is like, they're always with you, they're always around you, they're always doing things, and I
Mhm.
think when they get to an older level, they're going to practice, going to school, going to practice, coming home, eating dinner, going to bed, and so
Yeah.
it's not as interactive, and so I think you start to notice how quickly they grow up because you're, like, seeing them you're not seeing them as much grow up. Like, you're kind of
Right.
seeing them in more spurts than your kid that's 5 that's always around you and
Huh?
always,
Yeah.
you're living that life constantly, but man, It does go by
Mhm.
fast. Any 20-year-old, like, I know it sounds dumb. I hate even saying it,
Yeah.
but it is, take advantage of it with your kids. And not to say to not give yourself time to go do whatever you want, but really be
Right.
aware that,
Soak it
soon
in.
enough, Rory will be out of school or out of college or
Mhm.
in college or wherever he wants to do, and he's not in our life anymore. Like, he's not living
Yeah,
with us anymore. Like,
I know.
it's, like, really shocking to the system to be like,
It is,
"What
and those
happened?"
5 yeah, those 5 years to
Yeah,
your life are like, "Alright, well, cool, yeah, I gained 5 more years of my life."
for
Not a
sure.
big impactful thing, my life is probably
Yeah.
not gonna change drastically in 5 years. His and
His
everybody
is
else's
big
lives are
time.
gonna change
Yeah,
so much in that
for sure.
span, and it just I think that's what makes it feel like it goes so fast too, is, like,
Yeah,
watching the kids go through those stages, but it also feels to me like there's a point in your life where a year or 2 or 5 years is like, "All right, well, what changed in my life? Well, I guess I got a different job and, maybe we moved," but it's overall, like, life is still the same feeling
yeah.
that it was 5 years ago, like, but for them, it's like, geez, 5 years at any kid's age is such a huge, like, change
Huge
in
gap. Yeah,
person and what they're into, and like you said, with, going to school and then coming home and then eating, and it's like we've experienced that more and more to where it's
yeah,
like he's at a friend's house or he's got friends over
yeah,
or,
yeah.
it's just practice and this and that,
Less
and it's like,
interaction
man,
with
I
parents than
yeah,
than when they're younger. There's less and
right,
less
yeah,
interaction on a regular basis. Like, even when
uh-huh,
they're home, like you said, they're, doing video games, or they're talking to their friend, or they have a friend over, or they went to a friend's. It's
uh-huh,
not just like, "Okay, well, at least I have them once they're back at school from school." It's like
right,
they now have their other life, and and that's totally natural. But yeah, it's
totally, because I remember
that's the
that.
very, yeah, it's very difficult to kind of, balance that, and then not being addicted to your kid either is the same, is not being
Yeah,
like so obsessed with them. So,
right,
um, well,
yeah,
one final question I have is, do you think adulthood is harder now, or do you think we're just more aware of it now?
mm.
Like, now that you think back on things.
I would say I feel like in this moment, if I can call myself an adult, I think that I've kind of adapted to it to where, less and less feels like a big surprise. Maybe it's just because you get
Yeah,
surprised all the time. And it's like
yeah,
at this point in life, it kind of feels like, all right, we've been thrown our punches. We've experienced a lot of different things across the board. And so now it's kind of like learning to, or maybe learned a little bit more of just kind of going with the flow and knowing that things are going to
yeah,
change and happen and be sad and stressful and all that. And it's like, all right, well, but tomorrow might be a completely different story. Tomorrow might be
yeah, yeah,
better. Like this, whatever situation that we're in that's stressing us out or troubling us is going to go away. And it's not the end of the world. And I think
for sure.
sometimes it just takes time to get to that point of seeing things through and realizing that, all right, that did suck, that stung, that hurt,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but
It's
I
life
learned from
experience.
it.
Like, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
and I feel like
I
that's
think
just
that's, you can go through that, and it gives you a different perspective on life. So I don't think it's necessarily harder. I think we've had more experience. So these events that happen in our adulthood are not as, I don't want to say impactful, but I remember, and this is one thing I'm trying to like teach, not teach Rory, but kind of give him that insight of like, you're going to feel as a young kid that every decision you make or don't make, or any drama that you have or breakup, or is the end of your world. Like, that's
right.
just life, because you don't have anything to go off of. It's like
Mhm.
your first breakup, your first this, your first that is going to feel like it is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, because it probably is. So I think
Yeah,
adulthood kind of gives you a better perspective. So I don't think, I personally don't think adulthood is harder, because you have a better experience to know that there's something on the other side, or there, you'll get
mhm.
through this, or you'll, we've experienced this before, or, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
like for me, it's kind of touching me now, because it's what I'm trying to teach my teenage kid is like, you're gonna
mhm.
experience some things that you think are the worst things that have ever happened to you in your life. And they may
Yeah,
be the worst things that have happened to you in your life, but it
yeah,
is not something to react as if, like kind of like giving
uh-huh,
them this, I guess, experience to say, as an adult, you'll look back and say, yeah, that wasn't the end of the world. I remember
mhm.
breakups that I was like crying to my mom, like, as like, this is my wife. That was the girl I was going to be with the rest of my life.
Yes,
Like, and my
right,
mom just saying like, it will get, she's like, each day, even if it gets better for 1 minute longer that day, it will
uh,
be better. Like, and I was like,
so
no.
true.
And so I still think of that stuff. I still think, okay, even if it's better for 1 minute today, longer
Right.
than it was and now I think back, it was just so comical that that was like
Uh-huh.
that was it. My mom had to
That's your
console me for
yeah.
a girlfriend I thought was going to be mine, for the rest of my life.
Uh-huh.
That was my wife, and it's like so silly to think of, but in
Right?
that world, in the young world,
But
that's
it
what
is
it
at
is.
that time, it's
Yeah,
like I
that's
feel
it.
like that's what you go into most
Yeah,
relationships feeling like is like, "Whoa, this
yeah.
might be the one." Even when you're in 6th grade, you're like, "I'm gonna be one of those stories that, dated my 6th grade sweetheart and we're married and we've got 5 kids," and, like that doesn't always happen.
Yeah. Yep.
I we'll have this conversation with my wife about certain things that the kids do, whether it's little or big, and it's like you look at stuff now from a different perspective. Obviously, I try to put myself in the kids' shoes to like
Yeah. Yeah.
otherwise I'm gonna downplay it all the time of like, "It's not a
For
big
sure.
deal. You're
Yeah.
gonna be
It's
fine."
like,
And
calm
it's
it down.
crushing your world right
Yeah.
now, right? But
Yeah.
I look back at so many things in my life that I remember were what felt like big things and, my heart was broken or I felt
Yep.
defeated or
Yep.
whatever it is. And it's like so many times and probably every single time there was so much good that ended up coming out of it, but it's hard to
Mhm.
see that when you're in the middle of it, like the
Yeah, and you
lessons
can't
that you
tell someone
learn
that.
and no.
You can't. I think that's, like, hard to do as a parent is tell your kid it's fine. Like, you don't wanna downplay it. You don't wanna tell them it
Yeah,
will be fine because they're just not in a mode to receive that. Like, they're not in.
it's not what they want to
And so
hear.
really it's yeah, that's not what they wanna hear, and it's not maybe even something they need to hear, like, because 'cause they're in that, like, height of their emotion, and so, yeah, that's
Yes,
difficult to kind of say,
just
"Look,
just
you're gonna
comfort
look
me.
back a year from now and just
Uh-huh.
think that was stupid." Like,
Yeah,
but
right?
I've gotta let you act like this is the end of the world, and
Yeah.
so
They're like, "I don't
oh,
care about a year
man.
from now. I care about today."
Yeah, for sure. Well, if someone was in their early 20s watching our show, what's the one thing you'd tell them about in adulthood that no one else will?
Oh boy. Wow, if you've got one lined up, go for it.
I think I think the biggest thing I would say I think one thing that I took from adulthood is that or learning from adulthood is there is no picture perfect world. I think when you try to fit into a
Mhm.
category, especially with our social media, as a young kid, you were always comparing to someone else and that was the standard, the white picket fence, the two kids, one's a boy, one's a girl, everything had to line up and if it wasn't lined up, that's not good. Like and learning as an adult of how many things behind the scenes fail for people, whether that's job, financing, relationships, but there's a perception that they were perfect. I've seen
Mm,
so many of that perceived perfection online with people that then they're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're divorced or we're going through this or we're going to have to, move because we can't do this." Like, and no judgment to them at all, but I think as a what I would tell a 20-year-old is do not look at the surface on people and say that's what it is. Like be confident in
Yeah.
what you're doing and don't even think about what other people are doing because more likely than not you're on the same path behind the scenes like
Yeah.
the with the people that you think might have it already. Like they
Mhm.
probably don't have it. I don't think any of us have it already. There is no
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
personally think any of us have it perfect. And so but I think as a 20-year-old you do look to people that are older that might show, "Oh, we just bought this brand new car," or, "Look at the new house we just moved into. We're so happy." And, "Look at the, whatever, and look at my kid doing amazing at this sport," or, all the stuff
Uh-huh.
that comes with kind of growing up. It's easy to look at others and say they've got it perfect. Why can't I get it perfect? And I think looking back now as a 20-year-old, I did look at people like that and felt
Mhm.
inferior as I grew up, not meeting a standard that I thought was supposed to be there. And
Sure.
yeah, my advice would be to not even pay attention to the noise. Like, do
I
live
like
your
that.
life. You will have fights. You will have whatever. You will have financial issues. You will have downtimes. There's no one that's not gone through that, and to just keep moving forward. So,
Yeah,
and
I
don't
like
let
that.
people judge
That's
you for it. So,
yeah, kinda keep your blinders on.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
goes for
think
us now in our line of work. Like we've talked about it
absolutely.
multiple times. It's just don't look at the noise. Everyone acts like they're the best and the most successful in the world, and not all of us can be, and not all of us are, and most
No.
likely they're not. So
Yeah.
just to kind of keep on track with what you've got going on. So
Mhm. Yeah, I would say, like, keep challenging yourself because it's never gonna feel I think, in a healthy way, like, whether that's in your relationship, your work, your personal goals, your fitness, your spirituality, whatever it is, like, in the sales side, there's like if you're not, what is it? If you're not growing, you're dying.
Hmm.
And I feel like you can get complacent when you do start to accumulate the things
Yeah,
that you were
for sure.
trying to achieve. You got married. Okay, cool. Now I don't need to put any effort into that
Yeah,
relationship,
yeah,
because like that one I think is probably where a lot of relationships end up failing. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not guilty of that, because I am,
yeah,
where
yeah,
like
for sure.
I could and should put in a lot more effort, like date my wife, right? Like I've heard
Hmm.
that said a lot, but
Yeah,
just pushing yourself, because I think that it gets very easy to convince yourself as you start to get a little bit older that, I don't have the time for this, I don't have the
yeah.
energy for
This is
this,
just
I
what
don't
it is.
have,
Yeah,
yeah, like I'm good enough in that department of life
yeah,
to
yeah,
just keep pushing yourself, keep challenging yourself, because I do think there gets to a point where you start to lose some of that joy in life when you're just like going through the motions, and I don't have energy or
for
time.
sure.
Like, I don't know. There's ways of creating happiness in your life, because you might be super happy as a 20-year-old now, but as you start going through life, it does kind of, you get tired, you get beat up, and you have to push yourself.
For sure.
Do it.
No, that's good.
Do it
Good
now.
advice, my man. Well, that was good. Hopefully, people
That
got
was
some
great.
info out of it and got to know us a little bit better and got some words of wisdom a little bit.
Yeah, from a couple old farts.
Well, I know. It's crazy. I think I'm 43. I think.
Yeah, that's
I
old.
think. You start to lose
I'm
track.
I'm 40, and I only know that because
I
that was
think
that
I
was
have
a
to have my daughter
milestone.
like tell me what I am. I think I'm 43.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
I
on
had
my
one of
way
the
to
kids at
44.
church the other day tell me they thought I was like 53. I was like, give me a break.
Get
What do
out
you
of here.
mean?
Get out of here.
I don't even have any
You and then
gray in here yet.
you give him a Werther's original, like a little like
Get off my lawn.
get
Take my
off.
candy.
Okay, man. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, you as well. Take care.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.